There's nothing wrong with the southern politician. The present president couldn't have been president of Nigeria without the support of the North. Everybody knew what the northern governors came together, and did for him to even get the candidature. He got more votes in northern Nigeria than in southern Nigeria.
Hello and what's up, guys? In this video, something serious is brewing. And if you are not paying attention, 2027 might shock the entire nation. President Tinubu, the same man who rose to power with massive support from northern Nigeria, is now facing an unexpected rebellion from that same region. Yes, northern leaders who helped him become president now want him out. Former House of Reps minority leader Mohammed Umailia has revealed shocking details in a new interview. He says Tinubu wouldn't even be president today without nothing backing. But now they have turned their backs on him, and a coalition is already forming to replace him in 2027. According to Umailia, democracy in Nigeria is now a shadow of itself. He says voices are being silenced, critics are being arrested, and the government is acting more like a dictatorship than a democracy. He didn't stop there. He warned that the economy is collapsing, insecurity is returning with full force, especially in Borno, and the Tinubu government is in denial. Farmers are being attacked, soldiers are being ambushed, but instead of taking action, the federal government is telling Nigerians everything is fine. But here is the line that shook everyone. Tinubu has already defeated himself. We are just waiting for 2027 to unveil a new president. Let that sink in. This is not just about politics. It is about power, betrayal, and a region that says it wants real change. And even more shocking, Southern leaders like Peter Obi and others have already joined these meetings. The political game is already underway, and they are not just angry, they are organized. Guys, I will let you watch this video for yourself so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Take a look, guys, and remember to share your thoughts after watching.
All right, so you've been meeting and coalescing. Just a week ago, you actually had this meeting in Abuja where top political leaders came together, and you called it a political consultative forum. And so what's been the outcome of the consultations? We've seen that you've also issued a communique saying that governors who are defecting to the governing party or lawmakers are betraying the trust of the people, and they need to be punished by voters in the next elections. What more have you been saying?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Samna. It's been a while that I was on this program. I think preparatory to the last general elections, that was when you invited me here. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Well, the meeting you alluded to that I held last week is just one in a series of meetings that have been happening among key political actors, not only of the northern, group, so to speak, but also leaders across the country, both from the north and the south, about the current happenings within the political space in the country. The whole idea is to, as you would know, that democracy is facing a very serious existential threat in this country, particularly in the last 2 years, where the voices of dissent are being suppressed. People that speak against the interests of government are hounded. They're jailed, taken to court, taken to prison, kept in prison custody without trial, and so on and so forth. So,
is it for other criminal or other offenses, but not directly because they attack the government? Is that what you're saying?
You see, the human mind, Samna, is very perceptive. You understand what I'm saying? Of course, they'll always find a reason to take someone to court. Someone has committed something maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and you have not done anything. You just wake up simply because every day that person is on television, and the other media platforms, criticizing the government policies and programs. All of a sudden, you wake up and say he has done A, B, and C.
So the sins of yesterday are being revisited under the Tinubu administration.
Under the Tinubu administration, simply because
not for justice.
Not for justice. Not in pursuit of justice. So these are the things that are happening. So that calls for the need for patriotic, citizens, politicians, to come together, to start talking to themselves, to come together, to see how we can be able to find our way out of this, deep hole that we are all sinking into. What is happening right now within the political space, is not only a mere threat to democracy, but I think it is, to my mind, what is happening is worse than a military rule. And I'll tell you why. A military rule is a military rule. So the boundaries are clearly defined. It is not a rule of that was brought upon by the voices of the people. So it's a dictatorship clearly defined. In the first place, the constitution is abrogated. So that's a military rule. So you know your boundaries. But where, under the pretext of a democracy, some kind of dictatorship, some kind of military kind of, totalitarianism is being imposed on the people, is worse. Because on the face of it, you're supposed to have a constitution. You're supposed to have elections every 4 years. People have rights that are supposed to be protected, by the law. I mean, when I talk about rights, I'm talking of constitutional rights. Freedom of association, freedom of speech, freedom to life and what have you. They are clearly defined by the Constitution. But under this same democracy, all these are, observed in defiance.
Well, maybe some people in the government will disagree. With you saying that there's always this opposition against the southern president. Anytime we have someone from the south, that the northern leaders just want a power grab at all means. And they may just say that some of the words you have used are very strong. Very strong words. And it could be the reverse, just like some southerners were also using this kind of strong words against former military head of state, General Sani Abacha. It's a game you politicians like playing.
I'm not your typical politician. As you have introduced me, I'm a professional in politics. So I'm not your typical politician. I'm not interested in all this back and forth about this and that. But I'll tell you this, there's nothing wrong with a southern politician. The present president couldn't have been president of Nigeria without the support of the North. Everybody knew what the northern governors came together, and did for him to even get the candidature. He got more votes in northern Nigeria than in southern Nigeria. So what are you talking about? So all these narratives, all these skewed, jaundiced, narratives that are being, promoted simply to pitch the North against the South by a few elements within the political space. Nigerians are very intelligent people. They can see beyond this, narratives that are being, pushed out there just to, the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter who is president. It doesn't matter where you come from as a citizen. What matters is the president delivering good governance to the people. Bottom line. That's what is important. Whether you're a southerner or northerner, you go to the same market.
Well, and a lot of people will kick against this sort of political gatherings by top northern leaders. Under Buhari, there was no situation so much like this, putting President Buhari then under heavy tension by southern political leaders, and he was given an opportunity to actually get a second term quietly and all of that. Why shouldn't President Tinubu be given an opportunity to do similar thing? Though politically it's agreeable, but constitutionally, anybody can flip the elections as long as it's constitutional. But politically, you have been in this game for a long period of time. Doesn't the South deserve 8 years under a southern president? Why is it that? Because this statement keeps coming very strong, that anytime there's a southern president, there's this sort of gang up, and it's just shrouded in that scenario that the person from the south is not performing. And they give clear example of Goodluck Jonathan. The gang up against Goodluck Jonathan then was that he wasn't performing so much, Boko Haram and all of that, only for the same note many years after to be saying that they seem to have made a mistake with President Goodluck Jonathan.
You sound as if yourself you're a victim of this skewed narrative.
Well, I'm not saying that these are the concerns. That they late was as journalists that this is a gang up. This is not normal opposition politics by stand leaders.
Listen, there's no gang up. Facts are facts. Nobody is saying, President Tinubu should not have a second term, but President Tinubu should deserve to have a second term. And nobody stops, like you rightly said, anybody from challenging President Tinubu. And nobody is saying, as at yet, who should succeed President Tinubu? It could be a northerner and it could be a southerner. So it's neither here nor there. So this narrative that, oh, the North has come to push him out because the North is out of power, I don't see it anywhere. And let me tell you this. People are very forgetful. From 1999 to maybe the end of this Tinubu's first term, that's 2027, it will be 28 years of unbroken democracy. Now, I'm here talking about, this allegation that the North wants the power back and so on and so forth, because people keep saying that, why don't you allow Tinubu to spend his 8 years? Because Buhari has done 8 years, why not Tinubu? But let me tell you this, by 2027, from 1999, we'll have spent 28 years of uninterrupted democratic governance in Nigeria. Out of the 28 years, hopefully, by 2027, when his president's first term would be ended,
would have elapsed.
Would have elapsed. Out of the 28 years, the North had only spent 10 years in governance. Out of the 28, 8 years of Buhari and 2 years of President Yar'Adua. The remaining 18 years has been the South that is in office. So even if the North were to say we want equality or equity, as it were, given the facts, and these are facts, nobody's creating these numbers.
Well,
these are reality.
You know that in the conversation sometimes they also bring upwards the issues of military rule. The North had more power and all of that. When you put all those together, the North seem to have enjoyed more power under the Nigerian state.
A military, a military person that has been there to come and tell you what military rule is all about. So what I'm saying? I'm not here to speak about that because I'm not part of them. I was never a military man.
Yeah,
so
nobody voted for them.
What we're saying is, under a democratic rule, where rights are given to citizens, where the principles of equity, equality, because that's the basis of all this discussion between the different constituents, the different parts of the country, whether it's the different demographies, whether it is regions, zones, so what I'm saying, religious diversity and what have you. This discussion can only happen under a democratic governance. And I am telling you that under this democratic governance that we've had from 1999 to date, the North has only had, by 2027, we have only had 10 out of 28 years. 18 years is the South. So nobody should hoodwink anybody that, the North is trying to stop him. But that is not even the purpose of what is happening now. The country, the democracy itself, we are pretending to be practicing democracy. As it is today, what we have is not democracy.
Yeah, and I'm interested in knowing all the assessments, because in that meeting with these northern political leaders, all of you sat down, you assessed insecurity, the economy, the polity, and everything. What was your general assessment? Has President Tinubu failed, or has he performed well as he claims that he has done, especially in the economy?
As far as the meeting of last week was concerned, yes, it is a meeting of the northern group. However, some prominent southern politicians were invited. Peter Obi was there to give a goodwill message on behalf of the Southeast. Amechi was there. He gave a goodwill message on behalf of the South. And Governor Aregbesola sent in, a video. He wasn't present because he was doing his birthday at home, talking about it.
From the Southwest.
From the Southwest. So the assessment generally is that this government has performed, very abysmally, very poorly. And on all fronts, the economy and security are the worst. I heard you before we started the program talking about, the situation in Borno, for instance. I'm from Borno State. In the last 3 months or thereabout, the Boko Haram insurgency has started. There has been a resurgence. The governor, Professor Babagana Omar Zulum, came out and raised alarm and called attention of, the government, the federal government, that this is what is happening. Military men are being killed. Farmers are being slaughtered on their farms. And these are facts. But what did the government do? It was a pushback. The Minister of Information came out and said that what the governor was saying is not true. I mean, under that kind of situation, Sumner, how do you want, for instance, the governor of Borno, as the leader of over 6 million people, who has responsibility to take care of the security and welfare of over 600 million people, 6 million people,
yeah.
to feel.
Well, and we're actually surprised because that's the home state of the vice president, and Governor Zulu himself is a member of the Governor of Progressive Congress. So, I mean, does there seem to be a disconnect within the APC under the Tinubu administration, politically, structurally? Because, I mean, a lot of us were actually taken aback by that statement. And then, of course, the pushback by the government at the center.
Yes, all I can tell you is perspective of an outsider. But from an outsider's point of view, indeed, I see not a disconnect. I see a huge valley. It's not just a mere disconnect. A disconnect is something very close by that you can like push back and it can, reconnect. It's much more than that, what I see. Because you said it all. He's an APC governor. The governor is an APC governor. The vice president is from Borno. Vice president of the country, number 2 person. And the governor would come out and speak and say, this is the situation we are in. Instead of the government to step up and meet him at his point of need and provide what is required, they are saying, no, it's not happening. So I don't know how to explain that. Perhaps you need to
and some people are saying
APC.
that there may be some political implications for Vice President Kashim Shettima, for he's someone who is under his tutelage. I mean, Governor Zulum to come out and say that maybe the Vice President Kashim Shettima is sort of not given the opportunity to be able to express himself in government at the center. I mean, could that affect his political fortunes ahead of 2027 too?
That's not my business. I'm not bothered about that. It's not what I'm concerned about as a citizen of Borno, as a Nigerian, is for the federal government to step up to its plate and ensure that the resurgence of Boko Haram in Borno is tackled. To step up to ensure that what is happening in Zamfara, what is happening in Katsina, what is happening in Kaduna, you know what I'm saying, is brought under control.
And some senators said that there's a political dimension to this. I mean, if you had read what Senator Sunday Karimi and some other senators said, that the federal government needs to investigate why all of a sudden, as we head towards 2027, the issue of insecurity is becoming frightening. That it looks like maybe there are some people fiddling with it to use it to get votes and all of that ahead of 2027.
I'm not in a position to either agree or disagree with any conjectures by anybody. What is important is we have a government supposedly elected by the people. Now, their work is clearly cut out. The Constitution has given them what to do. So let them go out there and do it. I don't care what the nuances or the accusations or the counter accusations, the insinuations, if you like, that this is happening because of that. Look, if it is happening, if there are some people, go after them, get them, and prosecute them. If there are some people that are fueling insecurity, don't give us stories. You see, in this country, the citizens are always being looked down upon by people in government. They feel as if the citizens are some dumb people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, forget my very strong use of words here. But these citizens, Nigerian citizens, are very intelligent people. They are very hardworking people. Today, give Nigerians a good leader, no matter where he's from. Whether he is from southeast, south, northeast, wherever, Nigerians will key in.
All right, and that's the problem. I mean, people are saying that this coalition that's been brought in place, it looks like there's no particular face to it. And that if Atiku is the person some of you are trying to front, then it looks like it may be game over because, I mean, top politicians are defecting to the APC and having a handshake with President Tinubu, and there's this bandwagon effect, as the professor said in his analysis, that Tinubu is using. And it's like, if you're not in the APC, it looks like you're nowhere. I mean, could there be someone else other than an Atiku to challenge President Tinubu?
I'm not the one asking the questions. You are the one asking the questions, but forgive me. Tell me why you made that assessment. If it is Atiku that the game is over, tell me why. Before I respond
well,
to you.
I mean, that's what people are saying in the governing party. They are saying that Atiku is beatable and that he doesn't stand a chance with the President Tinubu.
It's absolute balderdash. It doesn't. What nonsense is that? If they think Atiku is beatable, fine.
They say he was beaten before and he'll be beaten again. I mean, so it's better the coalition provides a much more stronger and neutral candidate than an Atiku. But if it's Atiku, they know his game plan, they know everything almost, and he's a friend of Tinubu, and so it's easier for them to actually defeat him.
Let them stay on their lane. Sure, they have chosen their own presidential candidate. Let them stay on their lane. Let them continue to promote their own. Leave us with the coalition people to come up with our own president candidate. If we come up with Atiku, all well and good. We'll fight for Atiku. As far as we are concerned, Atiku was never defeated. Atiku was not defeated in 2023. Atiku was not defeated in 2019. You know what I'm saying? Atiku was both elections as far as we are concerned.
Are you saying that the votes were rigged? Is that what you're saying?
Much more than that. If you say rigged, you are just reducing the thing to, I don't know how to.
Well, people are saying that Atiku also failed to play the political game plan very well by, bringing Obi close to his side. Are we working towards such a game plan, in 2027 to see an Obi, an Atiku Obi ticket or something like that in the offing? Well, did you have opportunity to discuss that? During your political consultations?
You said consultation. Discussions are going on, about, who wants to be president. So far as we speak, Atiku did not say he wants to be president. Peter Obi has not said he wants to be president. All the other, people, they're just all these are in the realm of speculation. But discussions are going on. Atiku and Peter Obi ran in 2019. So if tomorrow they come up and team up together, it's nothing new or strange, actually, But of course, the discussions will throw up what ticket.
Do you think Tinubu is beatable? An incumbent president, do you think he's beatable?
No, if you say Tinubu is beatable, you are really, Tinubu has beaten himself.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Tinubu has already beaten himself.
Talk to us about
We're just waiting for 2027 to come so that we'll unveil a new president. Look at the economic policies. We have not even talked about the economic policies of this government. Today, all Nigerians are worse off for it.
The government says it has performed creditably, and it's been receiving endorsements from IMF, World Bank, and all of that.
Sometimes you work for Arise. I'm sure you have some kind of arrangement with Arise, whether by way of salary or emoluments, whatever. Sometimes you go to the market, or your wife goes to the market. Sometimes I'm sure you have a car, and you take fuel, because I don't think you walk from your house to this place, or either you enter a public transport to come here. Talking about fuel subsidy. After removing fuel subsidy, what were we promised? We were promised that some programs will be put in place to ensure that the shock, and the impact of the fuel subsidy will not be felt by the ordinary Nigerians. What has happened? Nothing has happened. Well, we heard about CNGs. I'm from Borno State. In fact, forget about Borno. I live in Abuja. How many CNG public mass transit buses do we have in Abuja? You know what I'm saying? Do we have any in Maiduguri? Do we have in Enugu? Do we have in Akwa Ibom? Do you understand what I'm saying? So, you see, they have said a lot, but they have shot in performance. They have not been able to do anything.
Are you saying that the endorsements that they've been getting from the IMF, World Bank, and all of that?
I did not read any endorsement. What I read about World Bank was that, the people are suffering, and that the government needed to tweak its policies to ensure that the suffering of the masses.
Well, they said since 2014, we've not had any economic growth like this. That's what they said.
Well,
that the economy has grown more.
If your economy as a person has grown, you tell me. But I can tell you that we have not experienced any growth. They can sit down in budget office or finance ministry and roll out figures as they wish. But the fact of the matter is Nigerians know what they're feeling. You cannot lie to them because they know. And when 2027 comes, people will decide based on their own personal assessment, not what I tell them or what the government tells them. Based on their own personal assessment to decide whether this government deserves to be returned back to office, or it's a government that needs to be kicked out. And I want to assure you that they have already finished the campaign for the coalition. And by 2027, this government, will be kicked out of office. And we're going to have a brand new government that will be more sympathetic, more realistic, a government that has plans. What is the plan of this government? What is the economic development plan?
Well, they said they are putting more food on the table of Nigerians in terms of agriculture. Food prices are going up very quickly.
The agricultural minister is not, although he's my brother.
Yeah, I'm having him pretty soon.
Yes, I will watch your program. But the truth of the matter is, has the price of rice come down in the market? Has the price of beans come down in the market? Well, has the price of yam come down in the market? Whatever policy you implement, it is about affecting, if you like, the price of food in the market. And that has not happened. The price of food has been, skyrocketing since this administration came to office.
Some of the prices have been going down actually, based on surveys and all of that.
From where they met it,
that it's out of reach to average Nigerians.
Has it gone down to where they met it? Right.
Right.
It hasn't. Prices have gone through the roof. And And so if there is a marginal decrease, maybe from when they came, I think rice was about 50,000 naira. Now bag of rice is 100,000 naira. Maybe rice has come to about 95,000 naira. Is it because of this 5,000 marginal difference? When you have increased it to 50,000, then you reduce 5,000, and you tell me that there is some gain?
All right.
Nigerians are not fools.